We oftentimes hear sort of a random person in the organization being tapped to lead the change through what this is going to mean for end users or the organization as a whole. And that's pretty common. I mean, my title is Organizational Change Management Lead, but most organizations don't have that, and it feels kind of like too big of a thing. The reality is that anybody can do some of the management of change. It's just a matter of setting expectations. Do we understand what some of the best practices in leading people through change are? What are those practices? How do we train and communicate and bring people along thoughtfully? The other sort of aspect of that is not just what are those best practices, but what is the mindset that's actually needed? Change management is, I think, more of a mindset that's a process of bringing people along, not just a set of deliverables. You can deliver training, and that's great. But if you haven't told people why this is happening and what's in it for me, we know from adult learning best practices that they're not going to learn very effectively and they're not going to apply that knowledge. And so we want to understand managing change as a process and have a mindset of sort of strategic empathy so that whoever it is that's managing change is thinking proactively about who's being impacted and when we need to communicate to them and when we need to bring them along. So whoever is managing a change, I think, needs to be strategic, needs to be empathetic, but they actually shouldn't be the ones leading the change. And I'll distinguish those because I think managing change is about being thoughtful and doing some intentional development of the tactics to bring people along. But leading the change is actually being the face, being the voice, being the motivation in the organization and for teams to drive people toward whatever that future state is. So anyone can manage a change and help be strategic and empathetic, but ultimately they're supporting the leader who is actually leading the change.